So usually the way tonight works is we actually sit for about an hour or so, and I'll give a little bit of guidance, but probably not so much. So you can follow along if you like. If you have something that you're more comfortable with yourself that you want to do, that's okay. And then after that, if you have any questions, we can, after the meditation about 8:30, you have any questions, you want to ask some questions, we can do that. So with that, we might get started. So if you want to find a comfortable seat to settle into. Just before we start the meditation in earnest, take a moment to check in with how you're feeling. Might have only just arrived, might be feeling a little rushed. Or maybe you've had a lot on today. Or you might just be feeling good and feeling ready to sit and practice. Whatever you've brought in to the meditation tonight, problems, issues, see if you can just make a resolve to put them all down for an hour or so. Any kind of expectations that you might have about how the meditation should go, or you want it to go. Any thoughts of how your meditation has been previously going? And just lay all that aside. Put it down for now. Just see if you can make the resolve or state the intention. And just use this hour to put in the right kind of causes to bring some kind of stability or calm or peace or wisdom to the mind, whatever you're aiming at. The more we focus on the causes, the easier it will be to get the results. So just see if you can make that determination just to try to do your best to put in the right kind of causes. And just start by checking in with your body, how it feels sitting here, all the different sensations. And if if you do notice any tension or tightness anywhere, maybe in your shoulders or in your face, your jaw, see if you can soften and loosen those areas. Notice any sounds that might be around in the room, coming from outside. Just notice that they come and go. There's no need for you to get involved in them. You can just let everything be that is on the outside. It's not your concern. Your only concern is to put in the right causes for your meditation. And those right causes are placing your awareness on some sort of meditation object, like the breath, or a mantra, whatever it is that you're comfortable with. And whenever the mind wanders off, your only job is to bring it back to whatever it is that you're focusing on. We just do this over and over again. And this is simply just putting in the right causes. Now just start to settle into whatever meditation method that you find personally most useful. Just put in those right kinds of causes. Just take a quick moment to reflect that you don't know what's going to come up in your life. You don't know what problems or uncertainty that tomorrow brings. So we have to make the most of the time that we have. So right now you have this time. Right now you have this opportunity to improve the quality of your mind through meditation. So just again, strengthen that resolve to put everything else down, but focus on putting in the right causes to make your mind more peaceful, more free, more wise, less attached, more liberated. And again, the way that we do this isn't by doing anything overly special. We're just putting these right causes of trying to develop mindfulness and clear comprehension. Mindfulness of noticing whatever comes up. Mindfulness with our meditation object. And clear comprehension that all things in our experience or existence just come and go. So we just sit, trying to keep our mind with our meditation object while also simultaneously noticing that things around you, things you experience just come and go. And this truly is the best use of your time. Okay, very nice. Hope everybody had a nice sit, nice peaceful sit.
Thank you very much, Ajahn, for leading us in that sit. Very peaceful. Just have a quick few announcements. There's quite a lot on this week in terms of meditation. Tomorrow night, there's another sit here at 7:30 with our lay teacher, Sandeep. And then on Friday night, it's the last of the Discover Buddhism series. And this week, it's how to cultivate gratitude and unselfishness through meditation. So it's the final week of the Discover Buddhism series that Ajahn Sādaro is taking. That's followed on Saturday by a full-day meditation retreat from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. called One Mindful Day. So that's sort of designed for people who've been partaking in the Discover Buddhism series, but everyone is welcome. Do you want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So should be a nice day. The days, obviously, for anybody that's ever done a retreat before, it's a good day to do a retreat. But then also for maybe people that haven't really ever done a meditation retreat before, we go through a lot of what we've covered in the last 6 weeks of the Nurturing Awareness course. So a lot of what we call the cultivating practices, developing kindness, developing compassion, developing forgiveness, generosity, gratitude, all these kinds of cultivating practices, and we'll try to do most of those on the day. It's also quite nice if you've never done a meditation retreat before. It's pretty easy. We do lots of sitting and walking, so you don't have to sit on the floor all day. We do some discussions as well. But then also the nice thing is we have a shared communal lunch together. It's like a potluck. I figured out it's actually like a potluck kind of thing. So everybody brings something along, and that's just what we share, and that's what we eat for the day. So it's quite a nice day for anybody that's never done a meditation retreat before, never come to a Buddhist place and sort of wondered what the Buddhists do most days. It's a nice thing. So do some meditation, eat some food. So yeah, it's you're welcome to come on that Saturday if you've never done a meditation retreat before, or if you've done one and you just want to come for the day. That's fine.
Thank you, Ajahn. There'll be more talking on Saturday than there was tonight, I believe.
Yeah, much more. Yeah,
much more. All right. Just a quick reminder that there are morning sits between 4 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. and Monday to Thursday nights at 7 p.m. through our Discord channel. If you're interested to find out more about those on our website. Next week's teaching program, a Sunday morning Dhamma talk, is by Bhante Jinasiri, and he's taking the guided meditation next Monday as well. So he's like a visiting monastic. So a rare chance to probably have him lead a guided meditation. They're all just looking ahead actually. So on Christmas Day, if you have nothing else to do, there is actually a meditation full day retreat here at the Buddhist Society of Victoria. Most welcome to join us for that. That'll be led by Ajahn Medito. There's a New Year's Eve event here on the 31st, and from the 1st until the 4th of January, there is a 4-year Welcoming the New Year meditation retreat.
4 day.
4 day.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said 4 years.
4 years. Yeah. That's just wishful thinking, isn't it?
That is a way to kick off the new year. Yeah, that's.
Thank you for clarifying that. 4-day retreat, 1st to the 4th of January. Might feel like 4 years to some people.
Yeah,
who knows?
Like 4 years, yeah.
That's being led by Ajahn Nisarano. Right. They're all the announcements. Thank you for your patience.
Cool. Okay. Perfect. Does anyone have anything on their mind? Anything's been coming up in their practice? Any questions? Now's a good time to ask or forever hold your peace. Either one. Also online as well. If you have any questions online, just type them in. Yeah. It's just for the people online so they can hear.
So I was thinking about what's the difference between, because I've heard of different, schools of meditation. Like there's samadhi, there's vipassana.
Yep.
And then you've also mentioned bhavana.
Yep.
Could you just like give a quick summary of like what's the difference between the three and how you see it?
Yep. So yeah, it's a good question because so I think there's a huge commonality between all kinds of meditation, but different kinds of meditation might have a different aim or a different goal. Now, I think the easiest way to think about, and from a Buddhist perspective, the easiest way to think about meditation is to think about it in terms of what we call bhavana. Now, bhavana just means mental cultivation. And so mental cultivation actually entails a lot of different elements. It's the actual meditation that you do, but it's also the kind of effort that you kind of put in, the effort to maybe abandon things in the mind that are negative or unwholesome, things like greed, things like aversion, things like any kind of delusion or confusion. It involves also the effort to develop skillful or good qualities in the mind, like kindness, wisdom, non-attachment. So what we call bhavana is this whole process of mental cultivation, and also you could say physical and action. This also comes into it as well because our speech and our actions, that's going to play an influence on the mind. So all that's sort of encased within what we call bhavana. Now you do have these. Now, so within bhavana, then you have this many kind of delineations of different types of meditation, and as you said, one is samadhi and one is vipassana. Again, these are very broad classification systems for kinds of meditation where that again have a bit of a different goal. Now, samadhi, these are more practices where one is trying to calm and to still the mind. So it's a lot of this more like focused attention-based practices. You're focusing on maybe just one thing. You're trying to do very simple things to calm the mind, to get it into states of stillness, absorption, whatever you want to call it. And so the aim of samadhi is to still the mind in that way. Vipassana, on the other hand, the aim there is to develop some kind of clarity and insight into the nature of the mind. So you could say it's a bit more like developing a kind of wisdom. So now within that, there's different ways to develop wisdom. There's different ways to develop clarity, but the stock standard version of developing vipassana to develop some kind of wisdom is to see things in terms of that everything is just inherently impermanent, that things are unsatisfactory, and that things have no real sort of personal essence there as an underlying phenomenon. So now, while these might seem like samadhi and vipassana, they might seem like two different things because, they have a little bit different goals. They do support each other. And so maybe in the preliminary stages of the practice, you have to go, well, now I'm going to focus on samadhi. Now I'm going to focus on vipassana. Once one progresses a little bit, they start to merge together a lot more, and you realize that, you can't really have one without the other. And in any one meditation session, you might be vacillating back and forth between the two. So in some way, it does become sort of the same. And again, it becomes, bhavana, mental cultivation. So, so there's so many different kinds of meditations. They all maybe do have a little bit of a different aim, but essentially, once you practice them more, it all falls under the heading of bhavana, of a kind of mental cultivation. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
There's another one over there.
Hi, Ajahn.
Yes, go.
Can you share, if you don't mind, personally, so when do you know, of course, we start with trying to still the mind, and then when, you've reside in that stillness for a while.
Yep.
So when do you know, okay, so do I want to continue to develop this further, or, should I maybe, investigate something else?
So by that, do you mean stillness? Do you mean calm? Or So when
Samadhi.
yeah, okay, yeah.
So samadhi or vipassana.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But you have already, your mind is already pretty still for a while.
Yeah. So it's a good question because there is this common trope that's around. It's like, oh, don't do too much samadhi. You'll get stuck in samadhi and you'll never develop any wisdom. Most people that have samadhi say, yeah, get stuck in samadhi. It's fine. You haven't got that much samadhi anyway to get stuck in. So just try and get stuck in it and then worry about not getting stuck in it. So don't get worried about not getting stuck in it. Just go for it.
It's a good thing to worry about.
Yeah, it's a really good problem to have. So yeah, there's that thing there. It's like, well, you should try to develop whatever level of samadhi you can develop. Do that, develop that now. But obviously, the question is, well, how do you know when you should maybe move from one to the other if you are trying to make a conscious decision to develop the two? Now, in some way, a lot of our meditation is intuitive. We sort of have to know, it's like, well, what is the right thing to do right now? At the moment, am I really overrun with thoughts a lot, and am I just spinning quite a lot? So if that's the case, actually, I do need to try to calm the mind down a little bit more. Or is it to the point where, well, actually, yeah, I've made the mind calm now, but it's, the calm's sort of run its course. It's run out. So actually, maybe now I should start to investigate a little bit. So there's no hard and fast lines of do this, then do that. The age-old adage that is a nice heuristic for this is that we try to make our mind as calm as we can, and it'll get to the point where it becomes calm. But then it'll just like naturally, just like you can't sleep all day. You're going to wake up at some point. At some point, your mind's going to become calm, but then it's going to start to move again, and it's going to start to become a little bit more active. In that time where it becomes active, then yeah, if you can move more into investigating and doing vipassana, this is a good thing at that time. Then you're going to get to that point where, like if you've worked all day, you're going to get to this point where it's like, I've worked and I'm actually really tired now. I need some rest. And so the mind will be like that as well. It's like, okay, I've investigated as much as I can, but I need to settle back down again. So you're going to be going through both of these ways of doing things, and you just sort of have to know for yourself of like what is right to do right now, and when should I switch. So yeah, but I think the litmus test with most of these things is that both of them should be leading to more calm and clarity and stillness. If it's going the other way, if you're trying to develop samadhi, but you're just getting more and more and more worked up from it, and maybe you're getting more anxious or something like that, actually maybe try to do some sort of vipassana things where you're actively engaging your mind in some way, just to keep things in a healthy, useful ballpark. Likewise, though, if you're trying to do some sort of investigation, but all you're doing is, thinking about thinking and chasing your tail, then you probably need to, do something else. So, yeah, you really do just have to be a little bit intuitive about it and go, what's the right thing to do right now? Yeah. So sorry, there's no hard and fast answer, but yeah.
Oh, that's good. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
I'll be greedy tonight.
Yeah.
So my question is, in Theravada Buddhism, there's different tradition, different lineages, like even within like Thai, there's different teachers and Burmese.
Yep.
So, yeah, what do you think about the differences between the practice of meditation? Because different teachers will have different methods and preferences. So do you find the one that resonates the best with you? And just curious about what do you think?
Yeah, I think differences are awesome. I love differences. I love different takes on certain themes. I love different points of view on something that's similar. So I am incredibly supportive of plurality of views within Buddhism, within Theravada, within the broader scope of Buddhism, between different schools, interfaith dialogue as well. I'm very, very supportive of that, and I think it's a really, really useful thing. So now, while I say that though, is like there are points in one's life where one is going to be more drawn to one thing as opposed to the other. One thing is going to resonate a little bit more, and it's like, this thing makes a little bit more sense to me now. This thing, I can latch onto this in some way and get some practical benefit from it. And so if that is the case, then there's nothing wrong with, you could say, settling on one and going, I'm just going to stick with this one for a while. There's actually quite a utility to that, in that you can go deeper into that tradition or that lineage or that modality of understanding or that kind of practice. You can actually deepen your practice and in some way like build a foundation within that. So that's actually really important, I think, for everybody to do at one stage. So it's going to be that one kind that you resonate with the most, and you'll sink into it a little bit more. Now, that's not to say that you can't go, well, I can look at some other, teachings, I can look at some other points of view. Having this plurality of teachings ensures, there's going to be times where you get stuck in your practice, and getting different ideas, getting different modalities of thinking. This is quite helpful for that. So I think different people have different temperaments as well. Some people really just like one thing. I got friends that just like one style of Buddhism. They like one teacher. They'll just stay with that teacher for the rest of their life. They'll never have to really listen to another kind of teacher, and they're quite happy with that, and they're content with that. That actually is the way that they find to helps progress their practice. Other people like to maybe look at different things. So it's in some way it has to be something where you're trying to build a bit of a foundation, maybe just in one, and get some sort of stability. But then if you want, you can use different traditions, techniques, understandings, teachings, all these kinds of things, maybe to supplement that in some way. But it's really something that you need to know within yourself what's the right thing to do. So yeah, it's as I said, I'm quite supportive of it, but it's just one of these things you have to make up your own mind for yourself, what actually suits you and what resonates with you at any one time. So yeah.
Great, thanks, Ajahn.
No problem.
Just at the previous question, Ajahn,
Yep.
you mentioned when the mind gets active and a bit anxious,
Yep.
then it might be time to switch to Vipassana to engage the mind.
Yep.
Could you just explain that a little bit, please?
So I said a few different things. So are you talking about the one where I said maybe you've tried to calm the mind down with like samadhi and stillness, and that's not really working, so you maybe try some Vipassana to sort of rein the mind in, and that's not working? Is that what the part I was talking about?
About there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So one thing we can do, so especially in the Thai tradition, you have this idea, wisdom develops samadhi and samadhi develops wisdom, and they work together in this kind of way. Now, what we can do in our practice is, at times we can lean on either one or the other. So we can lean on samadhi or vipassana to some extent. Now, one way that we can do this is, actually we might be our mind might be really, really active, and it's too active to the point where we can't sort of calm it down and just go, okay, just stay on the breath and do one thing. It's going to jump all over the place. So one method you can use is to use a kind of wisdom or a kind of vipassana technique, like looking at impermanence, and using that as the form of your meditation, where it's like you're using your discursive thought to some extent, but you're keeping it within a theme, but it's quite wide. So you're not just trying to focus on the breath. You're going, okay, well, I'm going to look at impermanence. I'm going to look at impermanence within the body. I'm going to look at impermanence within my life. But you stay with this theme, that is broad. Now, trying to stay with this theme that is broad, in some way, you're activating your like the active mind in some way to keep it on something. And what that will do is kind of keep it within a broad boundary. And the more you investigate or you contemplate in this way, what it might do is that boundary might, because your mind is a bit active, it'll keep it at least within a boundary, and the more you do it, that boundary might get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where it actually does calm back down again. And so this would be a way of wisdom developing samadhi, because it gets to this point where it's become still again. I like to think of the visual analogy of like a whirlpool. So, obviously you have a whirlpool, and it's very broad at the top, and it's spinning around quite violently to some extent. But if you could sort of harness that whirlpool, you get in and you sort of spin around, but you keep like spinning down to the bottom till you get to this point where it sort of like stops and sucks you under. So in this way, this can be like wisdom develops samadhi. You start broad and you're going around in this kind of like broad circle kind of thing, and then it'll sort of get you to the point where it does become still. Now, to add on to that, so you might do that. One day your mind might be really, really active. It's like, trying to stay on one thing is not working. Mind's too active that day. Okay, I'm going to try to develop some wisdom, do some vipassana to maybe calm that down. You try to do that, and you're not in the whirlpool. You're stuck in like a bunch of rapids kind of thing, or a violent, a violent riptide kind of thing that just keeps pulling you away. And there's times where it is just like that as well. Either one will work. So then maybe you have to try something else. Maybe you do some walking meditation. Maybe you do some chanting. Maybe you read a book or something. So it's not a surefire. It's not a surefire thing that just because your mind's agitated in some way, you could rely on either samadhi or vipassana to make it calm again. Obviously, they're going to help, but there are times where that just doesn't work, and you maybe just have to read a book and go for a walk and go, well, tomorrow. So.
Okay, thanks, Ajahn.
Yeah, for sure.
Similar to what you were saying as well. So I think when I was trying to meditate today, I just felt like there was a lot of, so normally I have thoughts, everyone has thoughts that come up and you can sort of bring your mind back.
Yep.
Today I felt like I had more unpleasant thoughts, just very, past experiences
Yeah,
that
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of just popped up.
Yep.
And then you think, okay, just
Yep.
right now I'm meditating, don't
Yep.
think about it.
Yep.
So you could try to keep your mind on the breath, and then again another thought that
Yep.
was also unpleasant
Mm-hmm.
popped up again. You wouldn't think about it normally, it just
Yep.
came up today.
Mm.
Do you have any advice for how, because you mentioned like cultivating wisdom is one option, and
Yep.
thinking about impermanence, which is helpful.
Yep.
I can try applying that, but do you have anything specifically for sort of unpleasant, hurtful past experiences that just arise out of nowhere?
Yeah. So you could say in some way there's a few different schools of thought on this, in terms of things that could be happening. Now, one school of thought is if you're just relatively new to the practice, and when I say relatively new, I mean your first 5 years of practicing. For me, that's new. That's new. So what is going to happen in your first few years of practice is you might start meditating, and then all of a sudden you're meditating. It's like, hang on, why do when I meditate, are more negative thoughts coming up in the mind? Now, this could be that meditation is bringing up more negative thoughts, but also it could be just the simple fact that you're just noticing them more. They're always there, but we're getting dragged around by so many other things. So in some way, you're just getting better at noticing the negative thoughts that are there. So that is one possibility. Another possibility is that when you aren't engaged with anything that can pull you outside, you're going to more rely on the internal thing. So that might bring up some stuff. You're putting away all the kind of usual distractions that you have, usual ways that you can activate the mind. But what that's going to do is going to throw all that away, and now all this stuff that's inside is actually just going to start to come up. That also does happen as well. Now, but obviously, the question is, well, this is unpleasant, so I don't really want to deal with it. So what should I do about it? There's a few different ways you can go about it. You can go about it in this way where it is you just see something that's unpleasant that's arising in the mind, And you can try just to go, well, this is just something that's unpleasant that's here. This is a part of human experience. Part of human experience is that things aren't so nice sometimes. Our minds aren't so nice. Things in the world aren't so nice. This is just the way things are. This is right now. This is just a moment of suffering. It can't be like this forever. It will pass. And we just try to see the thing, allow it to be there and let it drop away without trying to react to it. That's one way. That's one way you can go about it. Now, this is good. In some way, it gives you this sense of detachment from things, and you can get a little bit of space from the negative thoughts as opposed to being within them. Another way, but look, that doesn't work all the time. So there are points in time where you also might need to actively try to develop something that's the counter of that thought. So let's say if it's a thought of regret or something that's coming up, then you might need to find some kind of practice that allows you to do the antithesis of regret. I'm going to do a letting go practice. I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to let things go. My whole practice is just going to be let go, let the thing go, let the thing go, let the thing go. If you've got a lot of agitation arising in the mind, there's a lot of heat, a lot of anger kind of thing, then you might need to do some practice that's the antithesis of that, like a kindness practice or something. So there's those two main ways of doing it, where you either just observe the thing come and go, recognize that this is a moment of suffering, and just to get a little bit of distance from it, or there's you do the antithesis where you build the counter kind of mental state. The bottom line is, though, like I said with the samadhi thing, you do need some stability of mind to be able to do both of these things well. So at some point there is and it's not nice, but at some point there is a bit of a kind of grit your teeth and just go, okay, I just need to try to stay with the breath. I just need to try to stay with the breath, or try to stay with the mantra or the feelings in my hands or whatever it is, just in some way to calm the mind down a little bit. And look, sometimes it is a bit kind of holding on for dear life while all this stuff happens, and just going through and trying to develop some sort of samadhi. But within that, I think the one thing that you have to remember as well is that, even if you're sitting in meditation, and even if some of these negative things are coming up, and it's my mind's all over the place, all this negative stuff's coming up, I'm not really doing, I'm not really getting past any of this stuff. Just to try to remember that one thing you are building up at that time is patience as well. Just patience with all this stuff that comes up. So even if it's doesn't feel like it's going away, even if it doesn't feel like it's getting better, even if it feels like it's why does every time I meditate, why does this happen? You're actually building patience and resilience in the mind as well. So it's not for nothing, even though sometimes it might feel like I don't know what to do and this is for nothing. So so you can do one of those two things. You can either just sort of let it go, try to develop the counter, but then also just kind of realize that, okay, this is part of the process, and this is just something that is going to happen when I meditate. Does that make sense? Cool. Yeah. No problem.
Ajahn, there's just one little question online that's been here a little while.
Yep.
And maybe just a short answer because we're almost out of time. Dear Ajahn, is it possible to find wisdom through using only metta meditation?
No. It's doing one thing is not going to give you wisdom. Just doing one single thing, that's not going to give you wisdom. So I don't mean to be facetious in that, but it's I think doing one of anything is not going to give you wisdom at all. Metta meditation is a good thing to do if you're going to do one thing for the rest of your life. Go for it, knock yourself out. But I don't think doing that one thing will give you wisdom. Will it help develop different kinds of wisdom in different kinds of situations? Yeah, for sure. It might help you to be a little bit more wise in your interactions with people. It might help you to, sort of forgive people a little bit more. It might help you be kinder to yourself in many ways, and know that, that that life is inherently unsatisfactory. But just doing one thing is not going to give you wisdom. It's like if you just do Sudoku for the rest of your life. You'll just get really good at doing Sudoku puzzles. It's not like you're going to become more intelligent from doing just Sudoku. You're just going to get better at Sudoku. So, yeah, no.
Thank you, Ajahn.
No problem. Cool. Okay. So with that, very good. Nice to chat to everyone tonight. And yeah, there's so much stuff on. So I'll see you next time.